We've got this story. I'm wondering how many cities are going to burn over this story. Let's see if I can share it. Streamlab is still doing that stupid thing where I can't share the audio. Yeah, or StreamYard. Yeah. So we have this story coming out of Texas, I believe.
Yeah, Frisco.
Frisco,
I used
Texas.
to live near there. I lived right on the cusp of Frisco and McKinney. So this is
well, it sounds like it's not a great area.
Well, it was. That's why I'm shocked to see this.
So this guy, 17-year-old, 4.0 student, God-fearing kid. This guy, future philosopher, future astronaut, rocket scientist, yeah.
Right.
Killed him at a track meet over a seating dispute. He stabbed him in the heart, and he died in his twin brother's arms.
Oh, that's tragic.
And I have some, not video of the event, but I have some, things to share here from the father, who might be like the most Christ-pilled guy ever. Because he's immediately talking about, forgiving him. And
wow.
I just sometimes there's hey, I'm inspired by that, but I'm also this guy's in shock. If somebody killed my kid, here's the dad talking about it. And it's it's totally bonkers because I don't understand. So this kid brought a knife to a track meet. They argued over a seat and he killed him over it.
He died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins. And his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding. And he died in his brother's arms.
Wow.
And I rushed up there and I saw him on the gurney. And I could tell. They said he wasn't breathing. And I could see all the blood. And I saw where the wound was.
Austin, his father shares, was born 2 minutes before his twin brother Hunter, the two inseparable, as you can imagine. Austin is being remembered as an outstanding student at Memorial High, his football team's MVP, and a young man of faith. His father grappling with loss and forgiveness.
Literally a top 1% human,
Right.
4.0 student, God-fearing, great athlete, student athlete, killed by a bottom 1% human.
Wow.
He goes on now. Cue everyone going to call the dad racist for this.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? What was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place. They asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person. Already. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
I mean, this is an hour after his son got stabbed to death.
Yeah, what he's saying here, I know a lot of people are going to be kind of upset over the I forgive him thing, but basically, I mean, what he's saying here is God's going to handle this.
Yeah,
justice.
right.
God's got God can do way more than I can do. Hey, this is out of my control, out of my hands. God will handle it, and he will have justice.
Yeah, I mean, what can be? I mean, look, I'm going to say some hard truths here. First of all, obviously, not all black people. Obviously, I know a lot of great black people, but this is an obvious culture thing that keeps happening. It literally keeps happening. And when Scott Adams said what he said, and he lost his career over it, it's hard to argue with him. It's really hard to argue with him now. Even who are the conservative twins? They
Right.
just tweeted basically the same thing. Why would white people even ever be around black people anymore? Like they're living in fear. I don't understand. I don't feel that way.
I think what it is too is it's all about, because I think about, being in the South, and there are some redneck white people who might be like druggies, meth heads.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the equivalent. And there are a lot of ghetto areas with Black people that's definitely unsafe, and that definitely does not have a good culture, and that definitely produces people like this. There are some Black people that have a lot better culture and who are classier than this as well. But right now, and I think as per responsibility of the Democrats and what they've done is they have kind of made the Black community comfortable being in the welfare system, being dealing with all of this stuff, and being in a low class position, and that has created a huge problem with this, because as it is right now, like, I'm not saying don't be scared of all Black people, because there are some classy ones, but they're not being encouraged to be high class and to do better for themselves. They're being encouraged to get handouts and to continue to live in poverty and have a ton of babies out of wedlock, and to get more of that government money.
I don't hate Black people, and I think that the majority of Black folks are great. But like, maybe if I'm going to a school, I'm not bussing in kids from the hood to compete in track tournaments against me. Maybe I'm just not doing that. Maybe, certainly there are crackheads and meth heads, but they're not killing people. They're robbing them, which is not good either.
Yeah. Well, there definitely is a crime epidemic surrounding the Black population. A lot of people are very uncomfortable in talking about it, but it's the truth. It's the reality that, a lot of people like to say, no, it's the police's fault.
Yeah. Right.
Well, we
can have a separate conversation about that.
Yeah, from everything that I've seen, I mean, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the dysfunction of the family unit, when it comes to the lack of economic opportunities, when it comes to just some people just splurge out and don't have control of their emotions and have no impulse control.
Well, that's what Hodgson said. Black people can snap into a violent fit at any moment for any reason. White people walk around in constant fear of Black people. I don't, because I think it's more of an inner city thing than a Black person thing. Like, there are Black people that live out in the country here that farm. I'm not worried.
Right, exactly.
Like, I'm not worried about them. There's a Black guy in my gun club that wears like cowboy boots, and like, I'm 100% not worried about that guy.
Yeah, I'm around more people like that too in my area right now, and Black people around here are really cool. I'm not the locals Blacks to where I'm at right now are not these the ghetto stab you over a seat conflict.
Now, were there some words said? His brother actually spoke out too. I don't know if the audio is going to work.
This kid, before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." And he's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack. The kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just,
I mean, he sat in a spot where he shouldn't be. His natural reaction is to stab somebody. I mean, I just, instead of, now I know, I'm sure it wasn't, given Texas is pretty multicultural, I don't think it was like a, get out of here, darky. I'm sure it was like, he's from the other school.
Right.
And like, he's usually when you go to a high school event, you sit on the side, like your school stays on your side. That's how that works. And I'm sure something was said that wasn't, that was high school. But instead of just going and moving, he killed the kid. And now this guy's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So 2 lives were destroyed that day.
Right. I want to know more about this murderer's background. Is his dad in his life? Probably not.
No shot.
Yeah. This is awful.
Yeah, I don't look, here's the reality, the cold hard facts. They have to deal, the black community has to deal with it. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't do it. Families are going to have to stay together. This kind of behavior is coming out of inner city. Now, maybe it's probably true of like inner city people in general. I bet you like inner city whites are more statistically to be violent. Inner city Asians, probably not. I don't know if there's many inner city. Or like inner city Latinos, probably more. Like, it's an inner city thing. And so what Scott Adams basically said was like, just stay away. Like, white people kill people every day. White people rob people every day.
But then they blame you for white flight.
Right. Yeah.
When you move in, they blame you for gentrification. It's like, you're moving in. Oh, screw you. We hate you. You're moving out.
I never
we
really
hate you. It's like, okay, but let's be real here. There's also a demonization of white guys that has been going on subliminally in TV commercials and all the TV series and all the movies, all the pop culture, all the Netflix shows, especially the latest one. That I think ties into this particular story very well here.
That was in the UK, right?
In Europe, they specifically make sure to make it's the white guy who did this. It's the white kid who did this. Here in America, it's the white guy that's fat and pathetic and evil. You look at all the evil villains. They're always evil white guys. And it's done in such an awful way that I think it plays into this kind of realm of individuals being like, you know what? Screw it. This person's life doesn't matter because they see them as less. And a lot of people see, white people as less, and the humanist agenda is there. And it wouldn't surprise me if this played a role in being like, well,
this kid probably didn't value his life either, right?
But it was racism based on the kid stabbing him. So I wouldn't surprise me. Like screw you. Who the hell are you telling me to move? You're white.
I don't care. Well, there's also like the I never viewed moving to the country as moving away from black people. I moved as moving away from the city.
Exactly.
There's no crime where I live.
Yeah.
And like, it's not because there are no blacks. It's because I'm not in the inner city or anywhere near it. A lot of the places where I live that are right off the freeway, they get robbed all the time. But guess where they're coming from? They're coming from the city. And like, it's not like people get so offended when you want to talk about this stuff that they just immediately make it about race and they shut down or they get really emotional.
Right.
These black kids need something to look forward to. This black kid.
Well, they need proper role models. And they don't have that. And
he planned ahead, right?
Proper education, and they don't have that. And they need a proper father. A lot of them don't have that.
He brought that knife for a reason, right? Like, he made the conscious decision to bring a knife to an event where he clearly wouldn't need it.
Yeah.
And killed somebody. If like, this is, in my opinion, some level of premeditation. Like, it wasn't like, I guess we'll have to see the knife. Was it a Leatherman? I doubt it. Like, he killed this kid, and maybe people would take, obviously I'm not encouraging this, but maybe if we burned down a city every time something like this happened, people might actually give a shit about whites getting killed. Like, this stuff is crazy, dude. Like, this is crazy. This kid, no one's going to give a shit about this tomorrow, by the way.
Well,
no one's going to care.
In South Africa.
Nobody cares about that either.
Right,
that's
true.
another very important, case and documented.
I had a South African on the show. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we had Anton from, land of Biltong. Great guy. Described the awful situation that his people had to go through because of just one group saying, you know what, you're just seen as inhuman. Right. And I think, anytime we see each other as kind of inhuman, we kind of lose out a lot here. But there is a real legitimate conversation that needs to be had. And it needs to be had not with racism, not with hatred, not with bigotry, but with facts and science. And sadly, a lot of that has been prevented from happening. And therefore, the problem has only been exacerbated and made that much worse. Because you can't talk about this issue in like a real legitimate way. No. You can't talk about, the stats, the problems, the issues, because automatically people are just going to go up in arms and be like, yo.
They shut it down.
Yeah,
right.
They shut it down automatically. They don't want to have that conversation. It's almost as if they want to keep them in that type of position.